l'enregistrement. Donc, c'est juste en bas de l'écran, il y a on a l'interprétation simultanée.
At the bottom of the screen, you will see the indication. You'll have a choice that you can make to listen or speak either in French or in English. So most of this presentation will be done in French, so you could access to English. My name is Lila Kachu, and I'm the director for the Qc-NEIHR, a Network Environment for Indigenous Health Research. We would like to start this webinar by thank you to all of you, all the partners and people that are joining us today, and honor the work that you're doing and their commitment also to research. And we would also like to thank all the people that are here as an auditor and that are sharing our interest in the feeding the discussion towards the practice favoring the research environment by Indigenous people. We are now at a non-ceded territory, and it's historically held by Anishinabekwe community. Now, since our panelists will be coming from different areas, today we're mostly in Quebec, but some come from elsewhere. We're inviting you to share in a chat the information that you would like to add to us. I will let my colleague André continue the presentation. Sorry. I have some friends on the chat saluting me. Thank you very much. I wish a good day for all of you. I'm staying on Yanigang, a territory that is non-ceded, and it was frequented mostly by Anishinaabe. And also, we are leading these webinar series, and we're presenting you a practical example. Firstly, we put forward projects that are completely led by community and organization and Indigenous people. These research are being led by Indigenous people. So we also have a research partnership in the academic field and all the other communities as well in the Indigenous area. We will make two presentations today. So without any delay, I would let my two colleagues present their topic. Justine Tremblay, which was a student at the time when Anne-Marie Leclerc, and she's also a teacher at the Université of Quebec in Trois-Rivières. They will be both coming today presenting a project that was experience for women in First Nation and prenatal situations. So up to you, people. Thank you very much, Audrey, for the presentation. While Justine is preparing presentation for you, as Audrey presented it earlier, I'm a nurse and I'm teaching at the nursing department at Université of Quebec at Trois-Rivières. I'm non-Indigenous. And today the presentation that we'll be presenting you, it's a project in collaboration with the Trois-Rivières health centers. Thank you very much, Anne-Marie. My name is Justine Tremblay. I'm a clinical nurse also. I was actually a student from Anne-Marie Leclerc, and other people as well are with us. So they were both director of my master's presentation. So I'm very happy to be with you today. So we will kind of make a very brief presentation. We will start by in context situations, explaining to you the nature of the project actually, and we will have the opportunity afterwards through videos presentation. We will be able to make a couple of, lead a couple of discussion and come up with the conclusion. So actually, to put you in context with the project, it's a project that was realized in a co-construction with health centers in Trois-Rivières, CART, And we had a couple of days of consultation with the member, and many needs came in and they were named by the members. And this is where from this point on that the people have shared their experience when they're going birth and giving birth and their trauma, their difficult situation. So through this consultation, we have decided in collaboration with these people to deepen these aspects of experiencing of these people. So that was Justine's project, and she will explain it to you soon. Yes, I'm catching up here. So the project, my master's degree project, where we had the opportunity to collaborate with the health centers in Trois-Rivières. There were two collaborators, Indigenous, that could not be with us today, but nonetheless, we have with us two collaborators today, and it's a kind of a sort of a different way, but they're collaborating, and we will be showing it to you and sharing it with you soon. So before we present you this video, actually, the video was an initiative that was targeting to illustrate the results of the study that was leading. Actually, it was to respond to the request of the participant, but also from the Centre d'Amitié Autochtone, Friendship Center. And we wanted to present it differently so it would be more easy in layman's terms where people would better feel comfortable. And it was on spring 23. We will see today we have a student in a bachelor's degree in nursing studies, and ladies, that will be one of our collaborators. She's Indigenous. She was at that time also pregnant. So through her own experience, prenatal experiences, we wanted to sort of make it easy and comprehensive for most people. So we wanted to sort of express it in a layman's terms. So the video was presented also at the Friendship Center on the 13th of April, last 13th of 12th of April. So today it will be the second presentation of this video. So I will finish the sharing and I will allow Anne-Marie to continue on with her screen. I will start again because I didn't complete to add the sound. So I will sort of adjust this and we'll start again. She says, oh, now I know where it is. Each time we're forgetting something. It's a technical issue. So sharing of the sound, this seems to be right. So the video is about 15 minutes. It's not that long. And afterwards, we'll come back with you and sort of develop a discussion how our participant at the Friendship Center, when they saw this video, what was their reaction? So we'll come back on you to discuss about that. Attention, it is possible that certain passage of this video would bring about some negative emotion. The ideas and what we're sharing is coming out of our research and our experiences also. So you have a QR code at the end, so you could access to the videos and the comment. There is not one woman that should live this experience. It's like, yeah, I just have to do what I had to do. This is a prenatal experience from an Indigenous woman. I'm a nurse. My name is Justine Tremblay. So today I'm presenting you my master's project for my mastering degrees. So it's a person from Three River, Trois-Rivières. It is in the 2019. Its objective here is to represent the needs that were not followed or respected. So we had regarding the prenatal situation with Native women. So through the help of two collaborators, two ladies, Indigenous ladies, and then and Madame Eden Resino, I think, participated as well to the project. She's always in collaboration with the Friendship Center in Trois-Rivières. We have consulted 10 participants, 9 were academic and 1 was academic, and they have shared their experience, prenatal experiences, and also the accompaniment that was helped by the professional, the health professional. Good morning. Hi, hello. Thank you very much to be with us today. Is it possible for you perhaps to introduce yourself? Yes, actually, quickly. I'm Atikamek. I'm Jessica Clery. I come from Atikamek Abidjan Nation. Actually, I'm here today to be able to discuss with you my involvement, my participation, my experience for the project in which we have worked together since about 3 years now. So how has happened? How's your pregnancy going on? My previous pregnancy, I was pregnant at 17 the first time, and I had a daughter at the age I was 21. Today, my son is 21, and my daughter will be 17 years old. And today I'm 38 years old. So I can tell you that is really different from my first two pregnancy, because I was more younger then. My body was also more able to manage the situation, I imagine, to be able to suffer or sustain somebody else's in my body. And today it's a little bit more difficult. But at the same time, I'm more aware. I'm more aware that I need to take care of myself. I need to really prepare myself and respect my limits. I'm also well aware that as far as cultural levels, right now, I have more tendency of affirming myself. I'm not afraid to request for something and affirm myself and find ways that, yes, I'd be respected. But when compared to when I was younger, well, you get to the doctors and bang, bang, we do this, and nobody was explaining me what was happening. Or not explaining to me, yes, okay, today we'll do this. And today it's your baby is at the stage of certain centimeters where we're not taking any time to welcome me and inform me of what was happening and what was the process. And I would have really liked that today. The doctors that is following me for my third pregnancy, he once worked with Cree Nation, so he's much open-minded towards the Indigenous culture. So I'm not afraid to ask him certain questions. Why do we do this? What we'll do afterwards? What does this? And how is my baby doing? I'm really more aware also of what's happening. So the difference between the two, I could say that I feel that it's a pregnancy that I'm more in control of. I'm more reassured and much more informed. What were your needs when your previous pregnancies and even this one? What were the needs that you had at that time? So actually with my first pregnancy, as I was saying earlier, what I would have liked is that we could explain me better what's the benefits for this when you're at a certain point, a certain level, certain number of weeks, and what you expect for the next week. How could you, what could happen, for instance, is what influence does it have on the baby? But sometimes I would feel like a shock. What is happening? I was scared. I thought that I was in danger. And then I found out a little bit more during my second pregnancy what was happening. I did not know what was happening within my body. So, and that the shocks that I was feeling, it was just the baby moving around and it was just the life of the baby. So I would have really liked that would show me pictures so it could explain to me how it would unfold when I get to the hospital, specifically when it was time to verify the uterus. It was a shock for me. when the doctors asked me to put my pants down, I did not know what is happening. It was like I just had to do whatever he was telling me to do without explaining me why or what, and what was this for, what was this procedure for, what will happen after. So I did find that very, very difficult. And the way that I had experienced it is, it's like because I was Indigenous, well, you don't have anyways, you won't understand. I don't have to explain to you anything, just do whatever I tell you to do. So this is really how I've expressed it. You have a right to be informed. I would like to have said, yes, you have a right to set your limit. So everything that was connected with explanation, this is needs that you had at that time. You needed explanation, and this is what you did not have at that time. I think that each woman should have the have a very good experience through pregnancy, because it's very important. You're carrying birth, you're giving birth. I think that we should have beautiful memories from having carried the life. And are there some element that you preferred and you liked in through your pregnancy? Yes, right now, yes. What I like is I would have liked that the doctor who's doing my follow-up today, and I would have liked to work in for him, for his part, was he was working already in in the Indigenous community. That really helped. He really have some kind of a basic knowledge of the Indigenous culture, because when I asked me how I expressed to him how I would have wished the pregnancy to grow, he really showed open-mindedness. Right away, he showed me open-mindedness regarding my requests, and he was curious about it. He wanted to know, well, how long would you like to have the baby kept connected with the placenta when it comes to birth? Well, I thought it was interesting, a question. Well, I don't want to Slim to stay there for weeks, so what I understand is what you really liked is the open-mindedness, and he was really listening and aware and ready to listen to you and find out what you wanted and not just imposing you. Yes, exactly, precisely. What are your expectations with the health provider? Each time we're at the hospital, we're always asking ourselves and wondering, what kind of a nurse will I meet? What doctor will I meet? What will happening? What is the tone he will, or the attitude? Will be approach? What kind of approach will he use to come and talk to me? Would it take me like somebody? Oh yes, of course, because I'm native. Well, I don't need to express myself. I don't need to ask anything. Well, we understand. You just have to take time to explain to us. We don't need any medical lingues and all kinds of lingos, medical lingos. We just need somebody to explain to us very simply, very what we expect out of you. And most of the time, okay, well, listen, most of the time, if I know what expecting out of me in order to collaborate, well, then we just collaborate. We do not want any conflict. So what we want is that you should be well treated, have good treatment, good connection, and most of the time it really goes very well. But of course, when we facing somebody that's aggressive and using a dominating tone, of course, we are people that are very, very sensitive. So it's very difficult to explain it. So sometimes I would say, well, are you sure it's like this? Are you sure that it's not you that perceive it that way? And that is very insulting, very offending, because, well, we're just expressing and we're just experiencing this everywhere we go. At the hospital, it's the same situation. So it's like we they think that we're some kind of what do we wait? We pretend to be sick, and we pretend to suffer and are in pain, just so we could give us some drugs to appease us, because some people think that we're just drug addicts and that we're going to the hospital only to try to find some drugs, and we're all drunks, and we're all drug addicts, and we just go to the hospital just to pretend. And yes, it is true that there's many issues in our communities regarding addiction, alcoholism, and so forth. But seriously, we don't feel like going to the hospital, not even for pleasure. Even if we're extremely sick, we have a great infection, a wound, most of the people won't even want to go to the hospital. They will wait to the extreme before they go to the hospital. So when Indigenous people come to the hospital, they really have to be very sick in order to get some care, not for drugs. It says that the child that transforms, it from everything, it changes you, it takes times, and University of Quebec in Trois-Rivières. Thank you very much, Anne-Marie, to take control of the sharing. So, of course, we see your faces. We would have liked to hear you following the video, but we may have the opportunity to hear you at the end of the presentation. We were hoping to share you the way it was perceived by participant, and also the Friendship Center in Trois-Rivières when we presented on the last 12th of April. Of course, Jessica was present at that time, and she was able to sort of present us with a follow-up since she did give birth since the video. Of course, what she says is she experienced, well, it troubled her a little bit to see the video in a way that she did have a complication through her pregnancy where she had to have a change in the medical team taking over. So she was not actually in presence of the doctors who led her at the beginning. So there was a change of medical team. So, but she said that the experience was positive, and of course, there was, of course, the next team was not sort of, I think that the experience was well because the people that led her had some kind of sensitivity. So we were important to mention that to you that no matter what the experience was, the accompanying patient in a with the medical team, they do have a general experience with the way the pregnancy is going. So inevitably, when we talked about the presentation in a different group, sterilization and contraception, which is forced Indigenous people. Of course, these subjects emerge in the discussion. We also had a woman that testifies that her and her partner wanted to have another child, but nonetheless, through her previous negative experience, they decided, well, we never know in the video, we never know how we'll be welcomed. So for her, she feared situation referring to previous experiences. She was afraid that it would be produced again. So sometimes it brings the fear to people for getting more pregnancies. And following the discussion, people mobilize themselves and they recognize the recognition, actually, the welcoming that they have, and they're aware of what support is available in the hospitals right now, and the role played with these agents, relation agent in a hospital, and it's a very important. So this is a solution that they mentioned that would be interesting, that there should be an accompaniment person within the hospital field. Of course, the result is a very, very short version, but the verbatim will be available in next coming weeks, because right now it's just a synthesis. We cannot say everything, but there's a great wealth in this, and it's very rich testimonies, and then people accepted to meet Justine. So a positive response is our collaborator, that it was really a pleasure to work with those people, even if they were not there with us. But unfortunately, these people could not be with us today, but their perspective and their participation was incredible. They worked as well with the conception, with the colleagues and the meeting with the women. They were present if we needed a safety net. They were there. They were in the discussion. They really work a lot with Justine. So all this is a great wealth, and it gives a perspective. And I and Justin, we do not have this perspective. So it was really a great teamwork. Of course, it's a collaboration with the Friendship Center in Trois-Rivières. It was incredible. The idea was to share knowledge with them. And, you know, things are moving so fast. There are things right now in place already to organize a follow-up with the ladies in pregnancies. So we presented the results in 2 times with different members that are participated, and also the members of Friendship Center. And we also tried it to diffuse on many, many shapes, not only in one way, but we wanted the message should be heard by all kinds of people. So we were very preoccupied of presenting it in the best way. But our less successful experience, the context did not help us really, some kind of a sanitary, because the sanitary in 2020 was right in the core, in the middle of COVID. So the sanitary that, you know, were making more difficult the relationship and interview leading and so forth. So we did some Zoom meeting. It could sort of build some kind of barrier, but we had no choice at all due to all the sanitary limits. But it was still in context with my participation in many, many activities. The participant did not know necessarily me. They did not know, because my presence at the different premises were limited, so people did not have a direct contact with me. So even though we were not there in presence, like Anne-Marie mentioned it, our collaborators were available most of the time to offer a psychological support at distance that were there with any interviews that we were leading. So sometimes their presence was necessary when the subjects were a bit touchy and sensitive. Of course, there were a lot of delays as far as disseminating the information, it be caused by organization, by the funding and so forth. If we think that I've finally presented my memoir in December, so right today, there again, if we take the example of the video, we see that it was rolled in 23, but finally was presented in 24 spring. So for reason organization, moving around and so forth. So of course, there was a certain loss of the momentum, like we say. So when we do interviews, we're like really involved in a project. We're rolling and rolling. So we needed to move it quicker, and we're not able to supply this quick roll up. So we managed to. This is the little bit difficulties that we had. So the setback. In conclusion, because I can't wait to hear my colleagues that will be presenting their topic afterwards as well too. So you have, you see the code here, the QR. So if we want to have add some comment and so forth. So for us, the project, we hope that the result could be invested in the clinical practice, so it could make sense that the nurses, the doctors, health professionals and the network could hear their results and really take consideration of it and act or react and act positive or not. The more we will name, the more we will confront it, not confronted, but we could see confronted as well. But the more we provoke them and we present their situation as the impact that it may have, so we will be able to develop more equitable services and more appropriate services. What we want to also mention what is this project, and there's sometimes it's still not really thought or shared in the different collegial or university setups. It's an approach just good for all, for Indigenous people, definitely, but for population in general, because there's a lot of people that have been through very traumatic experiences. So we wanted to send a message, a very important message. The project that we presented you is really emerging from the Friendship Center. We did not want to, we were not the one to decide to do that. The Friendship Center had asked us to do so. If I have a message to leave with you, is if you want to and hope to make a project with Indigenous people, with the different institutions, well, and to start with their project. Sometimes we think that we have great ideas, but it may not be the great idea, or if the idea does not have presented in a proper angle or is not appropriate, it will not have any sense for anybody. So it's very important to start from their point of view. So I want to thank you very much. If you have some positive words, if you want to say, you have the QR there. So please put it in the area where we could express yourself. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you, both of you. The subject with the perinatal violence, the forced, it's really starting to move in the collective awareness. It's important to talk about the Indigenous people experience, because they have we want to say everybody's living the same thing. No, it is not true. There's a lot of pressure zone that are not taken into consideration in the larger discourse and conversation, but it also shows you that the solutions that have already been put forward, and they really emerged from all the experience that you've had and the information that you've collected. So thank you very much. I presented this beautiful project. I could see, I'm happy that you were with us today. Amélie, we're a lot today. We're many today.
Je donne maintenant la place à trois autres de mes collègues.
Now, we'll leave the floor to three of my colleagues. Joannie Gill, consultant, Madame Larivière, that is director and founder of Garneau, and she's also a teacher at the Faculty of Nursing Teaching at Université de Montréal. And also, do we say share? Yeah, share of practice. So I will leave the screen for my three colleagues to share their project with us. Thank you very much, Audrey. I will break the ice. My name is Joannie Gill. Thank you very much for the invitation, and also thank you for Anne-Marie to make a presentation, and Jenica as well. That was not there, but the interview were really beautiful. It really touches me, because I worked a long time in maternal health nurse. I was the only employee in this department, actually, that was member of First Nations people, and we did have more than 30% of the Indigenous clientele in maternal health and infantile health. It was very, very interesting to have the point of view of the Native woman, Indigenous woman in this prenatal experience to share with us. So now thank you very much for your beautiful work. I'm a member of a First Nation. I'm talking directly from my community in West, and I mentioned in Natasha, it's a very good idea for the Indigenous territory. So we are in the Pekuakamiulnuatsh territory. It's in the Lac Saint-Jean. I'm a bachelor's in nursing and graduated at Université de Québec in Chicoutimi, but right now I'm a student in master's degree at Université de Montréal. I founded this business as a consultant, which has a mission of support, a decolonization support, which is benevolent, by accompanying the changes with the individuals and the managers and the students, the teachers, professionals, and elders also, to awaken them to the right of the Indigenous peoples. I'm a part of a project that is both Indigenous and non-Indigenous, the co-creation of structures of the development, the train of this transition, which is based on cultural structure. And so the team are four partners. So, and it was partially in and Indigenous and non-Indigenous. I'm sharing the presentation today with two of them. Thank you very much, Joannie. Bonjour, and everyone. My name is Widia Larivière. I'm co-founder and director of Mikana. It's an Indigenous organization with a non-profit organization, which is concentrated on the reality of Indigenous people. So it's an organization that exists for almost 10 years, I think, but we're mostly active since 2020. And from Anishinaabe Nation, so member of the Temiskaming community, but I'm in Montreal. I don't even calculate, it's been so many years that I've been moved to Montreal, and I grew in Quebec City, and my father is a Quebecois. So I was sort of within this culture all life. So I worked with Native women of Quebec as a coordinator. So I really was very well aware on the issues of Native women, and I also work with the human rights and youth rights, Indigenous rights. So I was also at the commission with the human rights, right at the Viens Commission. So I was really imbibed with all that. So this is the background that I have, and I'm happy to be here to present to you. So today, I'm happy to co-present the research project that was built in collaboration. Actually, we're many partners in here. Yes, there's Mikana, there's Zaki, Krazik, with the research chair in the nursing care. I'm sorry, the acronym sometimes I don't get them all. So I'm also part of the Order of Nurse in Quebec, Nurse Association in Quebec, or Order. We have developed an agreement, a partnership agreement, and also discussion of the process before we talk about the results. So we have this partnership agreement. We talk about the principles of control, possession of data, and also sharing the responsibility of each of the partnership, and make sure that actually it's equitable for all, and that the work will be taking care of different technicalities that would be facilitate the self-determination of the different organization of the Indigenous people. And not only it should be a agreement technicality, but it is something that we really took time to elaborate and to really, we did it right at the beginning of the process. And I will let one of my colleagues to continue to introduce herself and talk a little bit more about the project. Yes, Amélie Blanchet Garneau. Bonjour. Hi. I speak both language, colonial language. I'm French and English. I'm from French resource. I'm talking to you from a non-ceded territory. I'm mother of a two boy, professor of University of Montreal to have be a nursing teaching. So actually, today we thought of presenting you a bit on a mode of discussion, three major points. But before all this, I wanted to mention that we have two other co-researchers, actually three co-researchers at the university level in our team. We have Sandro Achaquan, Patrick Lavoie, Anne-Marie Leclerc. Patrick and Sandro are with me at the Faculty of Nursing Center, and the other lady was in education at University of Sherbrooke. We also have a whole team of coordination. And by the way, I would like to pull your attention, say that we're looking for a researcher. If you know an Indigenous person that will need to know more of research and would like to join the team, do not hesitate. We will really make your CV circulated all through ERRSA-Qc-NEIHR. So do not hesitate to call upon people that would feel to join us. And the idea is to initiate them to initiate this research. And this is what we're presenting to you, three great questions. How do we express the development of the project, the challenge and the strategies that we have used in order to surmount them, and pin off a successful follow impact on that, on result of that. So it will be led by discussion and preoccupation that we had in our different circles and our respective networks. And so we decided to put it all together. And this is what brings us to the first question. Have we lived or experienced the development of project? And I will let Widia express herself. How I experienced the development of a project? Well, actually, it's been years that I know Joannie, and we've been sharing a lot of challenges we're experiencing here. So when we started to talk about this project, I realized that it was bringing up a lot of questions and bring about the challenge at Mikana. At the beginning, like I explained to you, Mikana is an organization that are being raising awareness for health with Indigenous people. So we build a workshop, training session, a different activity of awareness and sensibilization in different areas. Also, that we have young people leading the workshop and so forth. We realize also that there were an impact to the activities, awareness activities that we're doing, and this is not what will bring significant difference in our field. So yes, we have a lot of requests for the leading different awareness and sensibilization activities, but it gets to sort of fall off. People get exhausted and it sort of fades away. And, the idea was just to raise a collective general awareness on those facts. And we really, a lot in our reflection, where could we put our energy? Where could we really will have a greater impact in terms of changing systemic and sustainable changing in different areas, in terms of respect of the political, cultural safety in Indigenous community. There's another challenge also that we go through. Sometimes we meet a very resistant public. So the fact that the project, firstly, the project is really access and co-development and be active for our needs. But right from the beginning, I thought it was really responding to our needs and reflections, and this is why we have decided to in Mikana to work in collaboration for this project. I think it's my turn. According to my sheet here, I'm following. Yes, Widia has brought up an issue that was very important in the development phase of the project, and it's an over-solicitation also at the time that was available at the same time for our partner like Mikana and also for the order, which is our co-partner. So since the university researcher is part of our work on an everyday work to build up project and develop it and then transform them in a layman's term and in some kind of a non very friendly terms, because the language is very academic. But we need to get all these people be involved in changing their mindset so that the evaluator will be able to understand our lingo and our ideas. So what we've done, the team that is closer to the university researchers, we develop interviews with Joannie, with Widia, and with also other people from the order of nursing. So to understand better what is the need of each organization and put all those beautiful ideas together to sort of shape a project that would make sense for evaluators. So this is what we've done. So it's a little bit like a relay run or something like that. So we did the collection of data, and we then afterwards brought it and formed it in a project. So this is really from that starting point that we were able to avoid the over-solicitation, because each person was solicited for the interview. The interview was about an hour and a half or 2 hours each time. So then there was a rereading of the project, and it's all kinds of little pieces of the puzzle to put together. So it's quite complex as a request, but we finally had a very positive result. So the strategy still worked. I think that everyone felt listened and be part of the situation. So for us, it was quite a success story. So it was for us to be able to build this in the proper way. So avoiding that everybody was so breathless for the request of the funding grant. Thank you very much. So Joannie, yes, of course. Firstly, the development of this beautiful project that started with, like Widia mentioned, it started by a trust connection that we had between Widia and I, and also the trust we have with Anne-Marie as well. So we had that before we built the project. So it was already 2 years that we're collaborating on different projects, and I saw the way the share research was working. It really made sense with me. I really feel that it was a lot of respect, and it was trustworthy. So I could work with the share in feeling safe, in the sense that I knew I would not be bullied or so the trust was already built. And we even suggested a project, because the project was on a 3-year. We even suggested to the university on the 2nd year that as a consultant, I saw that the trust was really reciprocal at that time. And each time we had to make decision, all the partners were consulted. So everybody is considered, is very important. And as far as Indigenous partner, I really felt considered at the same title as the non-Indigenous partners. And the benefit that, well, we established them right from the beginning with the different interviews that we had right from the beginning. We wanted the spin-offs, and the benefit were the same and equitable for all. So we asked what kind of benefit, what this would give you to you specifically. And we wanted to make sure that it would be something that would be positive for all parties equally. So, for example, on my side, I had as a benefit, of course, it reinforces my knowledge, because I was coming from, I don't necessarily come from a research area or field, but it's to bring my knowledge and my contact in the field as well, in the domain of health. It was help. The networking also in the field of Indigenous nursing health, in the field of research and so forth. And it also allowed me to improve my, because all this research allows me to increase my knowledge regarding culture safety and other elements that are so important. And it allows me also to give more and more content of my presentation, which is much more rich. It was increasing my CV, my research, Indigenous research or Indigenous knowledge. It was my first attempt to in that field. So I realized that knowing the research of decolonization research. I participated many times, but I didn't realize at that time that it was decolonization research. But through the time, I learned that. And another positive point in our partnerships is when we get together, the interventions are really well distributed. We don't feel that we have a spotlight on us because we are Indigenous. We're not under considerate, over considerate. Everybody has its place, and the way that we express ourselves and the way we wanted to express ourselves is important. Like I said, we don't want to sort of, if we cannot express ourselves orally, we could write it. If we can be there, if we could be there, okay, we could meet it. But if we cannot, we can do it through writing or other means. It doesn't have to be in presence and orally. So this flexibility is very important. It changes everything when we're in a group where the ambiance is benevolent, we're really in a relationship. Yes, the ambiance, the atmosphere is very, very interesting. It is when it's very good and benevolent, it helps. I will let my colleague continue for the answer to the second question. Well, yes, the second question was on the challenge that we have met and different strategies that was implemented and put in place to surmount this challenge. So as a university representation, I will ask you to how to rebalance the power because there's a lot of this subject is really falling in our area when we talk about a partner. Do we want to do really real partnership? So of course this is pretty much the base, the power situation, different level. It's if we do a research project and we're considered to be a research expert, which is not the case, but we're considered as, but this is the way it's presented. And also the fact that by doing partnership with different organizations, like a community organization, a different organization that work at presenting different services and help. Well, it could be very different or appear to be very different one another, which is important for us to assure that our operation system is equal and everyone has its proper place and it's balanced and equitable, that each member of the team will be well recognized and listened to, and that we're really work on our strength, that we should be using properly the strength of everyone and every parties of the group. And then we dotted ourselves a partnership framework that was really elaborated with a lot of detail on how we will take in consideration the principles, OCAP, our ownership, me too, the acronym, as always, mix the acronym with the consideration, ownership, and whatever, you know that, do you know it? And we also have the established an operational system very specific for each years. We will be talking about it a little bit later on. For each of the years, we have the developer research depending on each of our strengths and expertise. The first year we were more on a conceptual type of thing on the project, so the leadership was supported by the university co-researcher. And the second year, we were more in the implementation mode, relationship with Lac Saint-Jean, for instance, and Joannie had really beautiful relationship with the schools. So it would help us. So people were really able to reach her. So Joannie is really taking the relationship on the second year that is starting this year, and the third year, Mikana had strengths in sharing knowledge and change and so forth. So and the order as well as somebody and a mobilization of knowledge that will be able to take the leadership for the third year. So we do this way for the different years, and inside a year we take control of the leadership of STEAM, but we also have a larger meeting where the whole team is together, and this is at the time where we take the decision. We take the important decision for the project to make sure that we could follow our vision and we're respecting our partnership framework. So we really did that as concerning our strategies. And I was talking to you earlier about the request for grant, and still is an organization, an opportunity for funding that was accepting that we would accept that we could pour that we would be responsible of carrying that somebody that would support the project, but was other from a university person. So we looked for a partnership development fund, so we were not too limited by the rules of the projects, funding projects. So I think that also is a strategy that was a winning strategy for us because finally we had the funding, complete funding, and we don't have too many barriers or which is not often the case. We need, most of the time, we need to battle and fight the decolonization. So it's, well, so we really had a very good vision of the funding. So Joannie, back to you. You're on mute. Thank you very much. Yes, we were really in a challenge. What challenge we're meeting, as I said earlier, I'm Mr. Yash. And many people that are in Montreal from this team. So we have the distance area, and this is a subject and a challenge. But of course, with today's technology, we could share a distance with Zoom and so forth. We could call, we could send email. It goes very well. Team is extraordinary too. So there's a lot of technology that just makes it available. So we have the opportunity to have at least one annual meeting where we really get together in presence. So that really allows us to really reduce the challenge of the distance and technology. But it's probably the only challenge or the greatest challenge that I've met through the project. But otherwise, with all the technology, it's really going well. So Widia, I'll let you talk about your challenge. So our challenge here is we're a very small organization with very little capacity, limited capacity. So we're still in growing. So we're progressively growing. So we have more opportunity to get ourselves involved in a project, how to organize ourselves without it sucking all our project or capturing all our time. So it's so for different projects. So we have time to reflect on whether we really accept what we want to get involved with, and time to think of making sure that it responds to our objectives. So in connection with this challenge, the project finally is really flexible and targeted to this kind of a reflection where Mikana will give its time and have time also to evaluate itself. Like you said, there still is a working committee that is really getting involved in micro follow-up, where Mikana doesn't have to be there all the time. It's pretty much like this in all organizations that includes Indigenous peoples. Really, the idea is to really engage yourselves in reflection, strategy, and not necessarily concentrate on technicality of micro follow-ups and stuff like that, but really in reflection. So for this, the project had that flexibility. And also, I know that it was already mentioned, but for us, it's very interesting that we should alternate the lead regarding our forces, our strengths, and our needs. So Mikana, it's more at the third year that we take more the lead, but nonetheless, we're still involved through the whole project. But like for the first 2 years, we're kind of more focuses on orientation, reflections, and so forth. So we're not in a lead position. We're involved in strategies, and this is where we contribute more. Would be in the third year, and where we'll be taking the lead probably. So strategies that have been put in place in a framework of research in order to surmount out those challenges. So we're pretty much involved in strategies. So now Amélie could continue for a third question. So, well, the third question that we ask ourselves, what are the success stories or spin-off that we had result, because we're at the end of a first year, but we still have observation to share with you regarding our experience. So, Joannie, so one of my success stories, I talked about it a little bit, but one of the other results is something important that emerged from this is my involvement in a master's degree in nursing science. So my master's degree that I'm doing right now, that I started this fall, it really connected directly with this project. So it really it really fits in. So it will go at the same thing as my leadership with the project this year. So the master's is it's fantastic. It's because it's interesting that my issue is connected really with what I'm doing, and I'm really interested in it. I have the opportunity to have and be involved in the second phase. So these are all the opportunities that are in parallel. They all join together and fitting in each other. So it also allows me other success. Actually, I was able to put the contact in contact the different Indigenous people. We talk about we have somebody that will participate directly with our project, and I was able to create with the directions to this organization, so I could bring. So it's good, very good to be able to mobilize people of this establishment, and then of course there's an Indigenous and non-Indigenous and one Indigenous person that is in this project. And it's also the fact that I'm initiating myself to this research. It allows me that everything that I'm teaching, not transmitting or transferring in my different, all that I'm sharing with a different discussion or workshop, it helps me to build up some positive datas. It's a big plus for me and a big plus for my team, my group team as well. So for me, this is what's related to success that came out of the project. So now I will, Widia again. Well, actually, the project, even if it's not concluded, and I don't have the final results, but the reflection that currently moving and that are very helpful for Mikana work up to now. It's members of my teams that to whom I participate. We have sharing circle and reflection. What are the links and the element that allows us to evaluate the impacts and the different awareness activities. So we're really in reflection right now on what will we do over and above sharing of knowledge, but how to develop the know-how and the know-how and the knowledge. Actually, we're really developing participative activities, immersive reflection from different public. By the way, the educational areas too, but also public areas. We have a workshop of pedagogy of comfort. We really want to explore what is this discomfort with Indigenous people, with their communication and connection and collectivity with non-native. But these are the reflection that came through our reflection and a project, and it really comes and supply and nourish and our different approach and the scale of impact between the awareness and leading through a social transformation that will be really evident, and in terms of systemic changes in different level and areas. So these are what kind of reflection that we have as far as public, more resistant public, for instance, and different publics. All this really is into our work anyway, but even if we're still in a reflection process. And I think that later in time and as a project unfold, it will really help us. And all the work we're doing and all the impact that we want, I think it will sort of build up. And for now, these are the results that we have on our side already, and we'll continue. So then again, Amélie, yes, we have a sharing circle, and we use this is as a data collection, and the greatest success that it had is it continued to build our larger network of relationship. We're building it slowly, and when we work with fight against racism with Indigenous people, well, of course, we're always the same people, connecting and crossing each other all the time. So it really helped to consolidate relationships that we already had, or perhaps start new connection, and finally build up and strengthen a larger network with people that are all working at the same orientation and objects for the fight against systemic approach. And also the how we take care of the Indigenous people in the health fields as receiving health services. We're really into this right now, and I think that it's a beautiful success of the first year, and it will definitely continues with the coming years. So this is this. This answers our 3 questions. We'll let Widia conclude. Oh my God, all the time runs, and I have a couple of minutes. So maybe I could just, to conclude, I could just say, highlight the larger principle, or what makes this project a success. It's really the basic principle, and it's been said in the many documents as a research principle. It's a basic principle with the relationship with the indigenous area. I think it's a build trust. They're already there, this process, but to build on it and increase it and build a significant and trusty relationship. And the question also is the reciprocity, to really state of attention, the level of attention and attentivity to whatever we say and we ask, and to be able to readjust ourselves, and also to be in the approach of co-construction. Really acts towards the need of the indigenous people, their reality, the different indigenous organizations and so forth. And finally, it really meet the collective objectives, which is simply fight against racism and discrimination towards indigenous people. It's still there all the time. It's a great objective. It's important. It's always there, and it's still it's mobilizing. It's a very strong mobilizing subject. And I think that the group and everyone that is participating in between within a community or discussion circle, everybody feel really called upon this mission because it resonates in them strongly. So we'll continue to co-construct at this level in the framework of our research. And thank you very much. Thank you very much for your attention, for listening to us. And thank you very much. Merci. Thank you very much. Thank you, William, all of them. Okay, so Joannie, thank you, everyone. Thank you, Amélie. Thank you to all of you three to have presented you the development of this project. What I find interesting is how you build a space that is really horizontal, transversal, which everyone is contributing in an equitable way, but you also were able to implement or have access to different culture or the path that we're talking about decolonization, you're talking about the source of funding. You were able to establish different things that would not force you to have a specific main person or academic researcher, which is almost impossible in the field of indigenous people, even if we work very hard on that. And I can't wait to see how it will unfold in the future and to learn more about what will be your success result in long term. Thank you very much. Now we're at the period where we'll question and answer. I will also, I've just put in the chat a questionnaire. I think that we had an opportunity to complete, because I'm always fighting myself with the wrong terms. Feeling it's not complete is different, so complete. Or in any case, if you have any questions and so forth, she put in the chat, thank you for taking time to provide your feedback. We carefully read your response. They help us plan our event. So she has put the links in the chat so you could join in and put in your comments. Any question? Any comment? Well, I would really congratulate you, and I really wish you full success in all of you're doing. It's really interesting. Thank you. I just want to ask a question here. My question is for Anne-Marie. Because many of us had experience with experience with giving birth and pregnancy. Will there be some follow-up or this kind of accompaniment for the women with which you have worked? And if not, was it something that was expected? Because by the experience with my two birth and pregnancy and the pain that I had through this, And it was really, I was really in a very difficult area. If I could allow myself to respond to the next question, because yes, there are participants that have the opportunity to be accommodated. Whatever you're talking about, it really came out and short that it was very important to have an accompaniment at the rhythm of the women, because the accompaniment that is really aware and listening and being this yes, having the much of a human approach rather than a medical approach. Yes, it is something that really came out. It is important to have proper accompaniment with through pregnancy, and also to have somebody accompanying him that have the same vision of the woman, and for these Indigenous women to be accompanied with their own vision, culture, and at least somebody that can access to that or be sensitive to that. Yes, it's quite an appropriate. And even at the Friendship Center from the beginning, and the project, there's a midwife that is really accompanying the women, really encouraging them also to come to the La Maison de Naissance, the house of birth. And I think that this really helped. There's, of course, interest from midwife and also with women in Trois-Rivières and so forth. This project actually allowed to put on the table something that was not named. So yes, it is true. The accompaniment, the proper and culturally safe accompaniment is really present, and it's really provided according to their needs and their wish. Well, I think that we probably said everything we had to say. And if there's no more question and comment, I will not keep you any longer. I think that everyone has a pretty heavy agenda anyways already. So I hope to meet again in June. And thank you very much for all the panels that joined us with Joannie, Widia, Amélie, and so forth. Simultaneous interpretation. It was delivered by Mireille since the beginning of our activities. We're really lucky to have with us, and I am also lucky to be with you. And thank you to all the participants. So have a nice day to all, and hoping to see you either virtually or in the real world. Thank you in presence. Thank you very much.